Hi everyone, welcome back to Digital Marketing Musings. Today we have another episode of it, and so currently we're looking at a lot of people having easy access to data, and that's really changing the way brand marketers are looking at data analytics and marketing analytics in the industry. And so today we have Ravindra Kulkarni, who's the technical lead at Merkle Socrates, and we're going to have a little chat with him to understand how's the current landscape changing around data and what's coming next. Hi Ravindra, good morning. Thank you so much for joining the conversation with us today.
Good morning.
Yeah, so a lot of marketers are adopting technology today, and it's really helping the business leaders in the industry.
Right.
And we want to understand from your lens as to how do you look at the change of this landscape, if you can walk us through it.
Sure. Yeah, well, as we are in technology era where data is immensely generated, which is spread across various data points, it becomes very easy and important to utilize that data, right? So in my sense, the data analytical adoption depends on the size of the organization and to some extent what kind of organization you are, right? So if when you are a startup organization or early stage startup, it's not necessary to look at how to do the analytical approaches or the machine learning and the predictive approaches, right? So the first order of business should be to make sure that the data house is in order, right? And the way to do that is building right and optimal infrastructure for the data landscape. So data is spread across various landscapes, so we need to make sure that data is collected and stored in the right manner. So there are softwares to pull that data, there are servers to serve that data, and engineers also need to access that database to pull that data out for various analytical purposes. So here the more focus is on data collection, data storage, data set security, and so forth. In mid-size organization, when data infrastructure is already in place, then you start to think on finding the patterns in the data, trends in the behavior, and then ideation and the implementation of the products around this data. In large size organization, when you have this basic infrastructure of data and analytical processes and system ready, then the additional components should be here to coordinate and manage across different teams, right? So there are different teams like technical team, management team, execution team, operational team. So data science or data analytics is typically a use case specific area where you need to understand the domain in a very deep manner, and then you need to make sure that the problems at broad level are rightly addressed by these different teams, right? So hence the coordination and collaboration between these teams is very important, and that's the reason that management and coordination is very important in this size of organization. So the benefits to the business leaders out of all these experiments are: number one, the new knowledge is created. Second, the decisions and policies are made as an outcome of these experiments, right? The knowledge is good, it's new, ideal, but if it gives me the actionable decisions, then it's even better, right? Third is the applications and the reports are created as a presentation mechanism for these data analytical approaches, right? So there are there are applications which can be used for presentation. So when you do the analysis, right, so many times you get the analysis in a very discrete manner, so it becomes very important to convert that analytical output into the presentable manner, right? And that the way to do that is creating application, right? So when you create application for data analytical experiments, right, these are very easy to access. It gives you a single view platform for prior to all these analytical approaches and services, right? So an important factor here is this reusable code of application will create huge impact at scale in the organization, right? And the fourth is very important to me because the data is spread across various points, and we collect data from various sources and consolidate in a single view. At times it happens that these analytical experiments or results which we derive out of these experiments, right, so may not work in the real life situations. And that's mostly because this, as I said, this is very domain specific exercise, right? So the use cases may change on time to time, and then it becomes kind of not fitting to the real life situation. In that case, data may not answer all the questions are being asked for these experiments, right? At the end, by all these experiments, we save cost on the manual efforts, which will also give you the same kind of results.
Got it, understood. So we're talking about like different layers here. First, we talked about how based on the size of the organizations, the leaders in the industry can take a call on whether they want to set up the data foundations first by getting their architectures right. And once they have that in place, they can go ahead and look forward to how they can solve the complexities that exist in different silos within the teams.
Exactly.
And then again, I really loved how you talk about thought processes getting cleared while establishing the processes for data analytics. That is something that excites me. And then we talked about how integration and exhibition of data is really important, so that whoever accesses that data, it's important they can easily derive insights out of it. Really, understood. So coming to the next question, right? What do you want to tell us about what's happening in Merkle? What is our current approach of data integration or exhibition, and what kind of tools are we using, and how does it revolve around?
Yeah, exactly. So we follow the same process that I just explained, right? So we started with the first approach of building the right kind of infrastructure for the data. So we have created data pipelines, right? So which will be accessing data from different kinds of sources. So we have built 50 plus data pipelines for that, and those data pipelines will have the jobs running 24/7 to pull that data and dump it into our data warehouse. So this infrastructure of pulling the data from various sources and storing intermediately for transformations, typically we call those are ETL pipelines. So the transformation will happen in between, and then after the transformation of the data, it will be stored in a data warehouse. So we use AWS Redshift for that purpose. We also have another segment of that data where we segment this historical data into transactional data, which is again a NoSQL kind of data. So these kind of server setups for data processing, the storage, and creating the data lakes, all that we have already worked in the last few years. And now we are starting to think for implementation or ideas around this data, right? So as I said, the presentation and exhibition is very important for data analytical experiments, right? So for that we created an application. And just before that, we worked on the analytical models or the experimentation, and then we deployed on the cloud, right? And then enabled it as a service, right? Now, when we have deployed these machine learning models on the servers, we have enabled it as a 24/7 accessible service, right? So, and that service is now integrated in the application. So the application that we have created for the presentation or the access is called Periscope application. I'll just walk you through that application and then we'll talk further, right?
Yeah.
So here, so I was saying that data is very, very important for any kind of data analytical approaches, but the key word here is the science, not just the data, right? So or the analytics, right? So what we do with that is very important, and now that's what we are doing with this application. It gives you the insights, right? So but we just have to extract those insights. It's hidden there in the data, right? And so that's the reason that we are doing the integration, because data is very dispersed, right? For a business use case, if you want to try to solve one particular use case, for that we need different kinds of data sets. And for a particular client or for a particular use case, one kind of data would be from the online sources, one kind of data can be from the offline sources, right? Another kind of data can be from just to the communication or any survey that we are doing, right? So we need to integrate all of data into the single data warehouse, or maybe what you can say just a centralized data we need to create for that. And that's what this Periscope application is doing. It's a real-time automation. It's near real-time. We are doing it in the batch processing. So the stream processing approaches are still under progress, but right now we are ready with the batch processing. So we can sync data in hourly or half-hourly manner with the batch processing setup that we already have, right? So the jobs that are running for this real-time data refresh are set up on the third-party tool called. So any client, any new client that wants to get on board with the Periscope, you just have to enter few details of the accounts, the source which this application or the client is accessing, the details of the source, the account details, and then what kind of metrics or the segments that we want to pull. All that information as a configuration part will be done with this application, and then the jobs are running periodically and data will be pulled. Third is data visualization. So once we get this data into our data warehouse and do some analytical analysis, and then whatever the analysis that we have derived, that has to be presented. So the presentation is done in many ways. One of the ways is like creating a dashboard for that. So we have integrated third-party tools like to present that data. So where data slicing and dicing and the quick filtration of the data can be done by the user. Another way of presentation is through sending out the email reports on a daily basis, right? So or on hourly basis as well. So that's executive summary that is given to the users of this application. That's the another way. Third way is we have exposed our APIs for the third-party integration. Many times clients may not they do not prefer to change their visualization platform which they are already using from years. They are very much comfortable with that kind of platform. So but they need data, the data refresh or the analytical decisions that they need. So instead of giving our visualization platform, we have just exposed our APIs so that they can integrate into their visualization platform and our data is accessed by them. These are the different kinds of ways that we have presented our analytical results. And of these analytical results which I am talking, right? So these are mostly a descriptive analysis. And this is happening so far. Now we are moving ahead to give you the predictive and prescriptive kind of analysis. For that, we have deployed many models on the cloud, and those are running on this historical data on a weekly basis or monthly basis, and they are giving some predictions or the prescriptions or recommendations out of this data, and those are presented in emails or any reports kind of formats. But getting that data, analysis of that data, finding out the right set of data and merging that data together, different kinds of data together to present that data set for the machine learning model, it's really important. And that's where the real challenge is, which I faced so far. And that we have kind of almost solved in the Periscope application. So I'll just walk you through the application, and then you will have the idea how this application looks like from user point of view. So I'm just logging in with my username and credential. Once we log in here, at the dashboard, at the front page, on the home screen will show you three kinds of areas where you can access dashboards or reports or the onboarding. This is onboarding is for new client onboarding. So there are typically 4 online sources that we have integrated so far. These sources or channels can go on as we go on, but right now we are ready with these 4 channels. If we click on AdWords, right? So here you just have to select the client, and then if I click on the accounts, these are already added accounts, so you can just check there and go next. Here you can see what kind of reports we have already set up, right? So we have set up here Google Ad Group Performance Report. The attributes that we have selected are like campaign ID, campaign name, ad group ID, etc. Segments are there, metrics are there, and you just have to mention the users which should be notified for this report. And when you just click here, you can see that this report is already set up. Here you can click on this run manual sync, where it will be run on demand. So the data sync will happen on demand. That's for the onboarding. Let's quickly go and see how it looks like on the dashboard. Let's see this client's dashboard. It's particularly a PVA dashboard we call for client. It's loading data now. Its data is coming from the data warehouse that we have set up. It has pulled the data now. It has rendered the data in different tabular formats. Here you can use different kinds of filter and date range changes to see what kind of result this analytical application has given you. These all dashboards are custom dashboards. We have flexibility here to give you the standard dashboard as well, standard email reports. But many times clients need a custom dashboard, right? which is serving the specific use case for the client. So this particular dashboard gives you the creative analysis used in the ads, right? Creatives used in the ads. So analysis on that is given here. ad group analysis, ad group level analysis, creative level analysis is presented here. So this is about the Periscope application which we have developed for this data analytical results. In the integration part, I was saying this is about all the online integration. We also have a feature here to upload a file which is offline integration. Typically, the data which comes from the client is through a CSV file or Excel file. That file also can be used here to integrate with the online sources. So we have given a screen here where user can come and upload that file here for the particular client, and then it is integrated with the online data, and then the data becomes whole data for the analytical purposes. Yeah, so this is about the Periscope that we have developed. So we are working on various applications on this on the machine learning approaches as well, but this is mostly related to report automation that we have worked on.
Got it. So a lot of factors, right? Undoubtedly, there are a lot of factors being considered here, right from what makes sense to the client, and then making sure that we work in 3 different layers for this particular solution: data collection, integration, and exhibition.
Yes.
And making sure that we master at all of these processes within the solution is really commendable. And so can you tell us more about the prescriptive approaches that you said we could take in order to create actionable insights on how can we predict data? So if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So see here in these kinds of experiments, right, there is no thumb rule.
Yeah.
Right. So we just have to work as per the use case or as per the domain, right? So this machine learning models or all the prediction or prescriptive analytical approaches, they are very generic in nature, but when you try to apply it to the clients, it becomes an iterative process, right? So you have to apply it, try it out, and then see which becomes useful for your need. So we are trying to make out some generalization out of this, which will be applicable to a lot of clients. So one of the ways to create a package of objective predictions, right? So we have different industry segments, like EduTech industry segment, the e-com, the BFSI, all that, right? So depending on one particular segment, we try to bring some analysis or some predictions out of it. In EduTech also, like generating a lot of leads, right, is very important there. So these kind of objectives can be clubbed together as per the industry segments, and those can be used as a prediction points, we can say. So that's one thing that we are working on, right? Another is like for the prescription or the recommendation system. That's really a challenging job, because deploying this machine learning model on the cloud and utilizing it for the recommendation itself is a challenge in terms of, because it has to be continuously fed. The recommendations may change, right? Initially we have very limited data set, but as we try to utilize it, right, so the predictions or the usage of that machine learning service will be increasing, and whatever the data that we are using for testing, right, that also has to be fed back to the system so that it will fine tune over the period of time, right? And the parameters tuning and increasing the data set and creating the model which is always in sync with the data, that is challenging, and that kind of work we are doing right now. Also, another kind of analysis or the recommendation can be finding out the different attributes for the product catalog for the e-com industry. So in the e-com industry, we have this feed, right, which will be uploaded on the various platforms like Google Merchant Center or Facebook Catalog Manager, and that will be used for the different ads. So and the next phase of our work in this direction is finding out or generating the content automatically, right? So
the GPT-3 that
yes, GPT-3. So content generation automatically is the need of the hour, because there are a lot of ad copies are used. Also in the search engine optimization, also we need content which has to be generated automatically, right? So we have machine learning models in place, right? So we just have to use that, and we are working on that to generate the content automatically, so that it will be used and manual efforts will be reduced, right? So So these are the different areas that we are working on.
I really have a newfound respect for data science through this conversation, because there are a lot of things that has sort of clarified the perspective that even the audience who might be watching us about data science. And the way I see it, it's more the amalgamation of art and science together. Yeah, I really wish you all the best, and thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you so
cool.
much.
Thanks everyone who's with us on this video and still watching it, and we've learned a lot about data analytics and the integration today, and what does the layers look like, and we'll just keep coming with more of these updates as soon as we have advancements on the solutions we're working on. So stay updated here and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. We'll just come back with some more updates, and thank you so much for watching.